In 2016 now, Senator Lindsey Graham is not a supporter of Donald Trump as the Republican nominee, and he is not backing down.
WIFF News 4's Patrick Hussion is joining us here now in the studio with more. Patrick.
Today, Senator Graham said that he will not vote for Trump, he will not be voting for Hillary Clinton, and he will not be attending the GOP National Convention in July either.
But everybody's out. I'm the only one left.
It's a party divided over whether or not to support Donald Trump.
I'm just not ready to do that at this point. I'm not there right now.
Trump responded to that statement from Speaker of the House Paul Ryan, saying he's not ready to accept Speaker Ryan's agenda either. Meanwhile, Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus says Trump is their guy and the GOP needs to unite and focus on defeating Hillary Clinton. Senator Lindsey Graham says his party has lost its way.
How did this happen? It's a race to the bottom, and I think we have a slightly faster car.
Senator Graham also says he will not be attending his party's convention in July, where Trump is expected to become the nominee.
I'm not going to support somebody I don't believe is a reliable Republican conservative. There are plenty of my friends who will. I respect that. There are plenty of people who vote enthusiastically for Trump. Some will hold their nose, and I just can't go where he takes the party or the country.
Every person has a right to their own opinion in this process. I believe that Speaker Ryan said not yet. He's not ready yet. From an official party perspective, Donald Trump is the Republican Party's nominee for president.
Republicans currently have the majority on Capitol Hill, and Senator Graham did find a silver lining in the effect that he feels Trump could have on Congress.
Here's what I think he's accomplished. He's divided the party over his candidacy for president, but he's reminded us all how important the majorities in the Congress are.
So when will the GOP unite in supporting Trump? The RNC said Thursday that Speaker Ryan and Trump will be talking soon.
But here's what I think Paul Ryan's going to discover, that Trumpism is not conservatism. And we'll see how that conversation goes.
All right, coming up at 6, we heard from Senator Graham there, but what did Donald Trump have to say about it today? I'll have that. Carol, a special meeting had been called by Mayor Janice Curtis for 3 p.m. today to fire Police Chief Keith Groundsel. But as supporters and non-supporters lined up here at City Hall waiting for that meeting to start, right at about 2:30, City Councilman Taylor Graham made this announcement.
I've just walked in with Police Chief Keith Groundsel, and he is currently handing in his resignation to the city administrator.
That after 3.5 years as police chief. It was a tenure that saw 2 suspensions, the latest in April for allegedly cruel emails to a Simpsonville woman. But there were also many supporters of the embattled chief. And after the resignation today, the city went through with their own announcement.
We thank Keith Groundsel for his service to the people of Simpsonville.
It's been a long time coming, the drama here in our city, and it just came to the point with the new council after all of these months. We decided that it was becoming one of those things that we just couldn't fix.
Groundsel's attorney told me today that he felt his friend and client would make his decision to resign with his family and his reputation in mind. Mayor Curtis says she will be talking to the city's attorney on whether or not Keith Groundsel will receive any type of severance package. The mayor also says that Deputy Police Chief Steve Moore will be taking over the Simpsonville Police Department for now. Now, Keith Groundsel did not speak to the media today, and we did not receive a statement from his attorney either, but I wanted to show you this. A man pulled up just a moment ago and gave out these flyers. This is Mayor Curtis dressed as a witch, says the bad, Chief Groundsel, the good. Now, this is certainly a sign of the times here in Simpsonville, because we talked to a lot of people today who would switch these and put the bad under Chief Groundsel and the good under the mayor. Again, certainly a sign of the times here in Simpsonville. Coming up at 11, we'll have reactions from supporters. Well, since 1980, North Carolina has gone to the Republicans in every election except for one back in 2008. Here in 2016, it's officially becoming one of the most crucial battleground states of this election. Donald Trump has confirmed that he will be over in western North Carolina in Asheville on Monday. Here today in Charlotte, Hillary Clinton held a rally. It was her 3rd visit to Charlotte in just the last 2 months. Hillary Clinton arrived here on the campus of Johnson C. Smith University and talked about issues facing North Carolina Democrats specifically, including the voter ID laws, which were just overturned.
The court said the North Carolina law was designed to target African Americans with almost surgical precision.
She also addressed the controversial bathroom bill.
These laws are a blast from the Jim Crow past, and they have no place in 21st century America.
Clinton talked about the job the Navy SEALs did in bringing down Osama bin Laden when she was Secretary of State.
That, Donald Trump, is what American honor looks like, and that is what we're going to stand up and defend in the face of your outrageous, disgraceful attacks.
I spoke to a North Carolina voter who could go either way, just as her state could go either way as well.
Right now, I'm making this conscious decision to go to these rallies. I want to hear it for myself. I don't want to hear it from the media. I want to be here. I want to hear it. I don't want to hear bites and clips. I want to sit here and listen. My next mission is to attend a Trump rally.
All right, a battleground state indeed. Reports show that the Hillary Clinton campaign has spent over $20 million on television ads here in North Carolina that have been airing since mid-June. Of course, Donald Trump is spending considerably less on television ads, but he's spending plenty of time. He was in Greenville, North Carolina earlier this week. He'll be in Asheville on Monday. In Charlotte, Patrick Hussion, WYFF.
Scott is charged tonight with unlawful possession of a weapon, disturbing schools, and carrying a weapon on school property. Another student who is a juvenile is expected to face the same charges.
We have live team coverage in Greenville County with WYFF News Force Patrick Hussion and Corey Davis. Patrick, let's go to you first. What's the very latest?
Nigel, Southside High School is quiet right now, but as you can imagine, earlier today it was ground zero after one student was sent to the hospital and another student arrested after that gun went off suddenly in the cafeteria around 8:20. Now, I spoke to a young student who was sitting just feet away from where that gun went off. She says the bell had just rang for first period, and then suddenly a loud bang.
He just kind of grabbed himself, and then he was like, and he looked and they jumped up, and then that's when they was like, he kind of stumbled, and then like they was like, oh, he bleeding.
Southside High School sophomore Nasia Kaysen describes the moment a gun went off just feet from where she was sitting in the cafeteria this morning.
He didn't have the safety on it, and so he was like kind of playing around with it, and then he messed around, shot himself, and then
While it was in his pocket?
Yeah, while it was in his pocket, while he was trying to they was playing around trying to put the safety on it because it wasn't on.
The school was quickly put on lockdown as the 16-year-old student with the gunshot wound was tended to, and first responders arrived at the scene.
At approximately 8:30, we received a 911 call of a gunshot victim at Southside High School. Our number one priority is to get there and to preserve life, and so the officers responded and they cleared the school of any threats.
The Greenville Sheriff's Office says the student does not have life-threatening injuries. He will be charged as a juvenile when released from the hospital. His name is not being released. A 17-year-old student who was there when the gun was being handled will be charged as an adult in the incident. Braylon DeAndre Scott is being charged with unlawful carrying of a pistol, disturbing the school, and carrying a weapon on school property.
It's normal for me to hear him talking about, oh, I got this gun, I got that. So yeah, but me seeing him with one is like kind of surprised, like he actually has a gun.
Now, that young lady was still shaken hours after all of this happened. Now, the Greenville County Sheriff's Office and the Greenville County school system have been praising not only first responders for today's event or incident, but also the Southside Community High School, the Southside High School community, from the principal down to the parents, for the organized efforts and for keeping these kids safe. Now, again, as you mentioned, the student who was shot is conscious and talking, and we don't know his exact condition, but his injuries are non-life threatening. We're live at Southside High School. Patrick Hussion, WYFF News 4. Thank you, Gabby. Tomorrow, as you mentioned, will be 1 week since that flag came down in Columbia, but the rallies and the protests do continue, with groups holding very different ideals. Beginning at noon on Saturday, there will be no less than 3 different groups with permits provided by the city holding rallies and protests. First, a rally on legal issues for citizens' rights by a group called Black Educators for Justice. Based out of Jacksonville, Florida, their group leader was once the director of the new Black Panther Party. They're expecting around 300 activists between noon and 4 p.m. Also happening at noon, a second group called RBG Columbia, a self-proclaimed black separatist group, will hold what they're calling a Family Black Heritage Day and expect around 50 people. Then, at 3 o'clock, the Loyal White Knights of the KKK will hold a protest against flag removal on the State House steps. Based out of Pelham, North Carolina, they call themselves the largest Klan in America. They're expecting around 200 people. In response to the KKK protest, Governor Nikki Haley made a request this week, asking people to avoid State House grounds on Saturday. A massive prayer vigil was also initially planned, but those plans have changed.
There are legitimate concerns about safety and about those sorts of things, so we wanted to honor that. Anyone who comes to the State House ground with an agenda or an ideology of intolerance and hate, we're certainly going to be praying for them.
Based on the permits provided by the city, a bird's eye view of the State House grounds tomorrow would look like this, with the KKK and the Black Educators for Justice on the north grounds with about an hour of overlap time, and the RBG Black Separatist group on the east grounds of the State House. So one not mentioned there, a fourth group called Smash the KKK was given a permit as well, but a time and place for them is not known at this time. And of course, there will be another group present, and that's federal, state, and local law enforcement. News 4 will be in Columbia tomorrow to cover the event, so be sure to tune in for that.